Now it's time for part two of a monumental day for Gridiron Glory. Our NFL recap on this beautiful Tuesday night. I'm Alexander Cook, Cole Wolfgang, unable to make it, swamped with homework, then he had to go to bed. So I'll be taking this part of the podcast as well. We talked about the college football playoff rankings in our last part of the podcast. Now we're going to talk NFL scores. And for the second straight week, we had stalemate in overtime. The Redskins and the Bengals tied 27-27 in overtime last Sunday. And the Jaguars got destroyed by the Titans 36-22 Thursday Night Football. Perhaps a little old news there for you. And then on CBS on Sunday, we had the Chiefs facing off against the Colts and Alex Smith getting the job done. Some nice big plays there to give the Chiefs a nice win over the Colts. And the Chiefs did have a pretty beginning to the season, but they're 5-2 right now. Looking pretty good. Cardinals taking on the Panthers. This looked like a beautiful game before. Not so much anymore. Panthers won it 30-20, and they actually have a second win of the season. Congratulations, hometown friends. Then we have the Raiders taking on the Bucks, and they went to overtime as well, but no stalemate. Raiders taking the win 30-24 in overtime. And then we had the Seahawks, who went into a stalemate in overtime against the Cardinals last week. This week, they lose. It's worse than getting into a stalemate in overtime. 25-20 is your final score. The Saints getting the job done. Lions facing the Texans, and the Texans with a win over there. And Bills, if you'll remember, defeated the Patriots earlier in the season when Tom Brady was still out. Their only loss in that 4-game stretch. This time the Patriots look pretty damn good, defeating the Bills 41-25. And then we had the Browns taking on the Jets. A close game, but in the end, the Jets prevail, getting their third win of the season. The Browns look doing so. Cleveland has great sports. I mean, you take a look at their baseball this season, and they might even lose the World Series. But we speak, we think the Cubs will win this game. We're not sure about next game, but certainly good Cleveland sports in basketball and baseball. But what happened with their NFL team? It's a disaster. It's the Jets, not too great either, with a much-needed W, though, winning 31-28. And then we had the Chargers taking on the Broncos, and the Broncos got the job done. And look at the big play count. 21 big plays in this game. That's pretty big. As the Broncos come up with a huge win, they advance to 6-2. Chargers fall to 3-5. Then we had the Packers taking on the Falcons. And the featured game action certainly didn't disappoint. The Falcons win it 33-32. Aaron Rodgers just threw the ball in the ground a little below his intended receiver at the end of that game on a 4th down. That sealed it for the Falcons. A nice win for the Falcons. And the Falcons have been really impressive this year, while the Packers have been largely a pretty big disappointment over there in Lambeau. Then we had the nightcap. Eagles, Cowboys, big time. And this one, you bet it went into overtime. Cowboys score a touchdown and get the W 29-23. One of the more hard-fought games you'll see ever. And what a win there for the Cowboys. Probably the best team in the NFC, and I'll certainly make that argument. But Cole sticking with his Eagles. Even though they're down 4-3, they started out undefeated. He's sticking with his Eagles. I'm going Cowboys, and here's why. The Vikings have disappointed. Bears, that's right, the Bears, the one-win Bears, last night, Monday Night Football, beat 20-10 the 5-win Vikings. How about that over at historic Soldier Field? And here's your featured games, your primetime games, and your featured games. You had the NFL Network, of course, Thursday Night Football. It's not much of a feature game, but Thursday Night Football is Thursday Night Football. 36-22 win for the Titans over the Jaguars at home in Nashville. And then the featured game in that first time slot, probably we'd have to go the Patriots and the Bills, and Patriots get a nice 41-25 win. And then over later on, a great game in the NFC with the Falcons, the Packers. Falcons win it at home 33-32. And then the nightcap, we had Cowboys beating the Eagles 29-23. A very exciting game there. And then, of course, the Bears actually beating down the Vikings 20-10 last night, Monday Night Football, on historic Soldier Field. So there's just your basic look at all the games. And now let's take a look at our NFL power rankings. Dun, dun, woo. And who rules? Well, let's talk. Let's start at the bottom of the list. And, well, 0-8, Browns. That's all you need to know. Number 31, 49ers. They had a nice opening win, but Chip Kelly and company, bleh, 1-6. Jaguars 2-5, and yeah, they've got offense sometimes. Their defense non-existent. They're just not really motivated. 29, Jets, and hey, they won, but against the Browns, bleh. The Bears, yeah, they are not too impressive, but they actually won when they got Jay Cutler back. Pretty impressive there, beating the Vikings. 3-5 Colts continue to move down, more losses. 2-5 Panthers moving up to number 26. And, yeah. And when you get a W, that's what happens. Number 25 Buccaneers, and moving down. They lose. Number 24 Ravens. They had a 3-0 start, but then things went really downhill. I never really had much faith in them, but yeah, things have gone in an interesting way. Number 23, the Saints, and yeah, I think they had a decent game, and winning against Seattle's pretty good. Number 22, Dolphins, and they stay in the same spot. Number 21, Titans, and nice win against the terrible Jacksonville Jaguars. Number 20, the 3-4 Rams, and they've got defense, but offense, bleh. Number 19, 3-4, and now 1 Bengals. They won games they're supposed to, and this was one they just haven't came up big in those big games, and that just doesn't work out. This time against the Redskins, just not looking too impressive, but they went to overtime. No one scored, but certainly exciting game there. Chargers, they moved down as the Broncos take them down. The number 17, we're looking at the Giants, which go down after that London trip. Just not fun. It's for the Giants. Number 16, Redskins, going to overtime, but not looking too impressive. They go down. Number 15, Lions, losing. They're going down. When do you lose, you go down. Now, the 5-3 Texans are doing a little bit better now. And look, they're doing pretty good. They're moving up big time. Then we have the 13 Bills, and they stay in the same spot. But, Tom Brady and company, you can't move people down because unless they're, really, really good, and they just can't do anything. Cardinals moved down after losing to Carolina, and look, I think the Cardinals are the best 3-4-1 team, basically 3-4 team, even 3-5 team in all of the NFL, and that's for me is a fact. Steelers moving up, and look, just bye week and easy for them. Then the Seahawks go down big time, losing to the Saints over at Mercedes-Benz Superdome. Raiders, they're actually doing pretty good on offense, but defense just gotta pick up the slack. Eagles, they look pretty good, but Dak Prescott and the Cowboys, to me, the best in the NFC. But as they move down a spot to get to number 8, Packers move down after a close loss to Atlanta, but just not the season you expected for these Packers. The Vikings looked really good early. Well, not in this game, but they looked really good early in the season, but then things went really downhill. Number 5, the Falcons, huge win at home at the Atlanta Dome over the Packers. You better bet they're moving up. Number 4, Chiefs, and they're really moving up 5 spots. And look, Alex Smith exited the game twice, but they got the win against Indy, and pretty impressive there. Nick Foles doing a good job. And then you got the Broncos, and Broncos got defense. They're at number 3, moving up 2 spots. The Cowboys are moving up. Come on, number 2, Cowboys, and they are pretty darn good. I think they're the best team besides the Cowboys in all of the NFL. We can't wait for what looks like right now might be a Super Bowl year. Patriots versus Cowboys. They have 1 loss. It was an opening loss to the Giants. And the Pats. Pretty impressive. After a huge 41-25 win over the Bills. And Tom Brady's back, but he is doing well. All right, that's it for our Gridiron Glory podcast. I'll see you next on Friday. Thank you for listening to our second part of this podcast. And please follow us on Twitter at @thefootballkids. That's @thefootballkids. And check out our blog, gridironglorysportsblog.weebly.com. Have a great night, everyone.